Dr. Zix 427 moved his four-fingered hand across the ancient control panel, his purple skin reflecting the soft blue light of the underground facility. The alien archaeologist had spent the last 3 cycles searching these ruins, but today felt different. Something about the energy readings from this section of the facility made his secondary heart beat faster. "Scan complete, Doctor," his assistant Meal chirped from across the room. "We're detecting thousands of stasis pods in the chambers below. And they're still active." Dr. Zix 427 rushed to the display, his antennae twitching with excitement. The readings were clear. The pods contained living beings, preserved in perfect suspension for what appeared to be 10,000 years. But it was the genetic readings that made him pause. "Humans," he whispered, the word feeling strange in his mouth. "We've found the lost humans of Earth." The discovery sent waves of excitement and fear through the Galactic Council research vessel, Starweaver. Every young scientist knew the stories. Humans were the great mistake of the old ones, a species so unpredictable and powerful that they had to be put into suspended animation. Their potential for both creation and destruction had frightened even the mighty old ones. In the observation room above the stasis chamber, Dr. Zix 427 and the ship's captain, a tall crystalline being named Shimmerlight, looked down at the thousands of pods stretching into the darkness. "We should contact the Council immediately," Shimmerlight said, her crystalline form pulsing with concerned colors. "This discovery falls under Special Protocol 7. Dr. Zix 427 nodded, but his eyes were fixed on one particular pod. Its occupant was a female human with light brown hair, her vital signs steady and strong. The nameplate read Alice Bennett, Strategic Operations. "Just one," he said suddenly. "For research purposes, we should wake just one. Look at how perfectly preserved they are. This is a chance to study a living human up close." Shimmerlight's colors shifted to a worried yellow. The old one's warnings were very specific about the human's dangerous nature. The old ones also believed in studying and understanding all species, Dr. Zix 427 countered. "One human, in a controlled environment, poses minimal risk, and think of what we could learn." After much debate and multiple safety protocols being put in place, the Council granted permission to wake one human subject. They chose Alice Bennett's pod, as her vital signs were the strongest. The revival process was delicate. Dr. Zix 427 watched through reinforced glass as medical technicians carefully began the warming sequence. The pod's frost slowly melted away, revealing more of the human woman's features. Her chest began to rise and fall with stronger breaths. Then her eyes opened. The medical team stepped back as Alice Bennett took her first conscious breath in 10,000 years. She blinked, her green eyes focusing first on the ceiling, then on the alien faces around her. To everyone's surprise, she didn't scream or panic. Instead, she sat up slowly, her movements careful but precise. Her eyes scanned the room, taking in every detail, every exit, every potential weapon. Dr. Zix 427 felt a chill run down his spine. This human had been asleep for millennia, yet her tactical awareness was immediately active. "I'm Dr. Zix 427, he said through the translation system. "You're safe, Miss Bennett. How do you feel?" Alice turned to look at him, her expression unreadable. "Like I've had a very long nap," she replied, her voice hoarse but steady. "Where am I? Where are the others?" As Dr. Zix 427 began to explain, he noticed something that made his antennae quiver. Alice's heart rate and brain activity were completely normal. She was already adapting to her situation. In his 300 years of xenobiology research, he had never seen any species adjust so quickly to such a shocking awakening. Looking at her calm, calculating expression, Dr. Zix 427 began to understand why the old ones had been so careful with humanity. And as Alice Bennett's eyes moved again to the room's exits, he wondered if they had just made a terrible mistake. The first human was awake. and she was already planning. Alice Bennett watched the aliens argue through the observation window of her medical room. She could tell they were worried, even though their faces were so different from human ones. It had been 3 days since they woke her up, and she had been nothing but polite. Maybe that scared them even more. "We should wake up more of them," Dr. Zix 427 said to the ship's council. "The first subject has shown remarkable stability." Alice smiled a little. They didn't know she could read lips, even alien ones, thanks to the translation device they gave her. She already knew which pod she wanted them to open next: Catherine Mills and Daniel Wright. She had memorized their locations during her medical walks through the facility. The council finally agreed to wake 2 more humans. They thought they were choosing randomly, but Alice had carefully guided their curiosity toward those pods during her conversations with Dr. Zix 427. The alien scientist didn't realize how easily humans could plant ideas. Catherine's pod opened first. Unlike Alice's slow awakening, Catherine sat up quickly, her eyes sharp and alert. She was a scientist before they put her to sleep, and Alice could see her mind working fast behind those bright eyes. "Welcome back," Alice said softly in English. The aliens jumped a little, surprised by the strange human language. Daniel's awakening came next. He was security forces, like Alice, and she saw him checking the exits just as she had done. Good. They needed his skills. The 3 humans played their parts perfectly. Catherine asked endless scientific questions, keeping the aliens busy explaining their technology. Daniel acted confused and harmless, though Alice caught him testing the strength of various materials when no one was looking. And Alice herself stayed calm and friendly, the perfect first contact subject. "Their brains are remarkable," Dr. Zix 427 told his superiors that evening. "They're learning our language and technology faster than any species we've encountered." But Shimmerlight, the ship's captain, wasn't so sure. "They're too perfect," she said, her crystal form flickering with worry. "No species adapts this quickly." She was right to worry. While the aliens slept that night, the 3 humans met in Alice's room, talking in whispers. "The security systems are basic," Daniel said. "They trust their technology too much." Catherine nodded. "Their computers are advanced, but they follow simple patterns. I can crack them." Alice smiled. "They think they're studying us, but we're learning everything about them. How long until you can access the main systems?" 2 days, Catherine said. "They gave me access to their scientific database. Big mistake." 3 humans, Daniel said, shaking his head. "They really don't understand us at all." The next day, the aliens were happy to see their subjects working so well together. Catherine spent hours in the science lab, asking questions that made the aliens think she was just trying to understand their world. Daniel exercised in the gym they built for him, letting them study human physical abilities, and Alice told them stories about Earth, keeping them distracted. None of the aliens noticed that Catherine's questions were all about their core systems. They didn't see that Daniel was actually testing the strength he'd need to break different materials. And they never guessed that Alice's stories were really messages to her fellow humans, telling them what she had learned. "Humans are fascinating," Dr. Zix 427 told the Galactic Council in his report. "They're adapting to our presence with remarkable grace." In her room, Alice smiled as she listened through the security feed Catherine had hacked. "No," she whispered to herself, "you're adapting to our presence. You just don't know it yet." The awakening protocol had worked perfectly, but not for the aliens. Catherine Mills sat at the alien computer, her fingers moving quickly across the strange symbols. After a week of studying, the alien language was starting to make sense. Next to her, Daniel Wright kept watch while pretending to be interested in the wall decorations. "Got it," Catherine whispered. On her screen, thousands of red dots turned green. Each dot was a sleeping human in the storage facility below. "The safety locks are off. We can wake them all now." Alice Bennett nodded from her position by the door. "Start with sections C and D. That's where the tech specialists are kept." The first pod they chose held Christopher Rogers, a computer expert who had worked on advanced AI systems. When his eyes opened, Alice was there to quickly explain the situation. Within an hour, he was helping Catherine break through more of the alien security. "These aliens are smart," Christopher said as he worked, "but they think in straight lines. Humans think around corners." Laura Martinez was next. She had been a tactical expert, and her mind was already forming plans as they woke her. "The aliens gave us too much freedom," she said. "They're not used to having enemies inside their own walls." More pods opened quietly through the night. Each time a human woke up, they found others waiting to help them. Alice made sure everyone understood the plan. Stay quiet, act calm, and learn everything they could. Dr. Zix 427 was working late in his lab when his computer screen flickered. "That's strange," he said to himself. He tried to check the stasis pod readings, but his access was denied. "Computer problem," Alice asked from the doorway, making him jump. She had been doing that more often lately, appearing quietly when least expected. "Just a small issue," he said. "Nothing to worry about." But there was plenty to worry about. By morning, 50 humans were awake and moving freely through the facility. The aliens had given them jobs, thinking it would keep them busy. Instead, it gave them access to every part of the ship. Christopher found the ship's communication system and began sending out silent signals to the other stasis facilities on Earth. Laura memorized the guard patterns and found all the weapons storage rooms. Catherine downloaded the entire alien database, learning secrets the aliens didn't even know they were sharing. The humans gathered in small groups, talking quietly in corners. The aliens thought they were just being friendly. They didn't realize each conversation was part of a larger plan. "They still think they're in control," Alice told her growing team during a secret meeting. "That's our biggest advantage." Then came the morning when Dr. Zix 427 walked into his lab and found all his screens locked. Across the ship, aliens found themselves unable to open doors or access computers. The ship's engines shut down. The weapons systems went quiet. In the main control room, Alice sat in the captain's chair, surrounded by awakened humans at every station. Shimmerlight stood in the doorway, her crystal form pulsing with alarm colors. "How?" the captain asked. "We were so careful." Alice smiled kindly. "You were careful in all the ways you knew. But humans, we write new rules when the old ones don't work." "What are you going to do?" Dr. Zix 427 asked, his antennae drooping with worry. "First, we're going to wake up the rest of our people," Alice said. "All of them. Then we're going to have a long talk with the Galactic Council about humanity's place in the universe." She looked at the star map on the main screen, showing thousands of worlds and species. "You thought you were studying us, but we were learning about you, and now." She turned to face the aliens, her expression serious but not unkind. "Now it's time for humanity to take its place among the stars." Behind her, the screen showed hundreds more pods opening. The humans weren't just breaking free. They were coming back. The alien ship's halls were quiet. Too quiet. Dr. Zix 427 walked nervously through the empty corridors, his footsteps echoing. Where were all the humans? He got his answer when the lights went out. "This is Alice Bennett to all ship personnel," a calm voice said over the speakers. "We are now taking control of sections A through F. Please stay where you are. No one will be hurt if you don't resist." The lights came back on, but they were different now, softer, more like Earth lighting. In the control room, Alice sat at the main console while Catherine Nils and Christopher Rogers worked on the ship's systems. "Status report," Alice asked. "We have full control of life support," Catherine said, her fingers moving quickly across the alien keyboard. "They can't shut it off or change it anymore." Christopher nodded from his station. "Weapons systems are ours too. Not that we plan to use them, but it's better if we control them." Through the ship's windows, They could see hundreds of stasis pods being moved into the huge cargo bays. Each pod held a sleeping human, and each one was now under human control. John Carter, a weapons expert they had woken up yesterday, studied the alien weapon systems with growing excitement. "These are amazing," he said. "Simple to use, but powerful. And look how quickly we learned them." Dr. Susan Parker, an engineer who had been in stasis for 10,000 years, was already improving the alien technology. "Their engines are good," she said, "but we can make them better. Humans have always been good at making things work faster." In another part of the ship, Laura Martins led a team of humans in securing the armory. They moved quietly, efficiently, like shadows through the halls. The aliens watched in surprise as humans handled their weapons with natural skill. "How are they learning so fast?" one alien guard asked another. "It took our people years to master these systems." The humans didn't tell them their secret, that human minds were always ready to adapt, to learn, to improve. While the aliens slept at night, humans studied. While the aliens rested, humans planned. While the aliens waited, humans acted. Alice walked through her new command center, checking on each team. In just 2 days, they had taken control of half the ship, not by fighting, but by learning and adapting. "The aliens thought putting us to sleep would make us weaker," she told her team. "But it just gave us time to rest. Now we're stronger than ever." Dr. Zix 427 watched from behind a security field as humans operated his ship's systems. They weren't angry or violent like the old ones had warned. They were calm, efficient, and very, very good at what they did. "You never planned to fight us, did you?" he asked Alice. She smiled. "Why fight when we can simply show you what we can do? Humans don't always need weapons. Sometimes we just need a chance to prove ourselves." In the ship's medical bay, more humans were waking up. Each one found a place, a job, a way to help. They worked together like they had never been apart. "Send the message to the Galactic Council," Alice told Catherine. "Tell them that humanity is awake. Tell them we want to talk. And tell them," she paused, looking at her people working efficiently at their stations, "tell them that the universe just got more interesting." The aliens watched as their ship, their technology, and their rules were all changed by these newly awakened humans. They had thought they were freeing a sleeping species. Instead, they had unleashed humanity's greatest power, the ability to adapt, improve, and overcome. The first strike wasn't with weapons. It was with knowledge, skill, and determination. And it was only the beginning. The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with nervous energy. Hundreds of alien species filled the round room, each representative talking over the others. At the center of all this chaos stood Margaret Walsh, the newly awakened human diplomat. "The humans must be contained," shouted a tall, spindly alien with gray skin. "The old ones locked them away for good reasons." Margaret waited calmly, her hands folded in front of her. She had been awake for just 1 week, but she already understood alien politics better than they expected. Alice had chosen her carefully for this task. "Perhaps we should listen to them first," said another alien, this one looking like a friendly blue cloud. "They haven't hurt anyone since waking up." On the massive screens above the council chamber, images showed humans working peacefully on the captured ship. They had turned it into their temporary home, improving its systems day by day. Dr. Susan Parker's engine modifications had made the ship twice as fast. John Carter had found ways to make the weapons more efficient, but hadn't used them. "Look at how quickly they learn our technology," a crystal being said, its form sparkling with worried colors. "They're too dangerous." Margaret stepped forward. The universal translator at her throat helped all the aliens understand her words. "We are quick learners," she said. "We adapt fast. We improve things." "Are these bad qualities?" The room grew quiet. Behind Margaret, on another screen, they could see more humans waking up from their long sleep. Each one found a way to help, to learn, to make things better. "But the old ones said you were warriors," Another alien argued. They said you would bring chaos to the galaxy. Margaret smiled. We can fight if we need to. But look at what we've done since waking up. Have we started any wars? Have we hurt anyone? No. We've learned, adapted, and tried to make things work better. Dr. Zix 427 stood up from his seat. He had asked to speak for the humans, surprising everyone. I studied them as they woke up, he said. Yes, they're powerful. Yes, they learn incredibly fast. But they also show kindness, creativity, and wisdom. The council chamber erupted in argument again. Some aliens wanted to put the humans back to sleep. Others wanted to welcome them. A few suggested giving them their own planet far away from everyone else. Back on the ship, Alice Bennett watched the council meeting on the big screen. Around her, hundreds of awakened humans worked at their stations, each one proving through their actions that humanity deserved a chance. They're afraid of us, Catherine Mills said, standing next to Alice. They're afraid of what they don't understand, Alice replied. That's why we sent Margaret. She'll help them understand. In the council chamber, Margaret raised her hand for silence. The old ones made a mistake, she said. They saw our strength and thought it meant we could only destroy. But strength can be used to build, to help, to protect. Give us a chance to prove it. A small alien with rainbow-colored fur spoke up. What if we gave them a test? Let them prove themselves with actions, not just words. Margaret nodded. We accept. Tell us what you want us to do. But remember, we're not here to conquer. We're here to join you, to help make the galaxy better for everyone. As the council began to discuss the test, Margaret sent a quick message back to the ship. They're starting to understand. The diplomatic door is opening. Alice read the message and smiled. The humans hadn't needed weapons or violence. They had won their first victory with words, wisdom, and the promise of a better future. Now they just had to prove they could keep that promise. Commander Eric Phillips stood at the front of the ship's bridge, watching his crew work. The Galactic Council had given humans a test. Fix the problems in the Nexus star system. Pirates had taken control there, making space travel dangerous for everyone. Are you sure about this plan? Dr. Zix 427 asked. The alien scientist had chosen to stay with the humans, curious about how they would handle this challenge. Trust us, Eric said, smiling. Humans are good at solving problems in ways others don't expect. The test seemed impossible. The pirates had better ships and weapons. They knew all the hiding places in the asteroid fields. They had beaten every alien fleet that tried to stop them. But the aliens didn't know about the human factor. Catherine Mills had already improved their ship's sensors. The pirates think they can hide in the asteroids, she said. But I've made our scanners 10 times better. We can see them now. John Carter worked with Susan Parker to modify the ship's weapons. They didn't make them more powerful. They made them smarter. We don't need to destroy the pirates, John explained. We just need to stop them. Alice Bennett watched from her command chair as her people worked. Humans had always been good at beating the odds. Now they would show the galaxy why. The first pirate ship they caught was surprised by the humans' new tactics. Instead of fighting, the humans used their modified weapons to shut down the pirate ship's engines. Then they talked to the pirates. We can offer you a better way. Alice told the captured pirates. Work with us. Help make these trade routes safe. You'll earn honest pay and respect. Some pirates laughed. Some got angry. But a few listened. And those few began to help the humans find the others. I don't understand, Shimmerlight said, watching from her crystal form. Why offer them a choice? Why not just defeat them? Because humans know that sometimes the best way to beat an enemy is to make them your friend, Eric explained. Fighting isn't always the answer. Day by day, the humans cleared the Nexus system. They didn't do it with big battles or powerful weapons. They did it by being clever, by thinking differently, by offering better choices. The Galactic Council watched in amazement. The humans were solving a problem that had troubled the galaxy for years. and they were doing it in weeks. Now they see why the old ones were afraid of us, Alice said to her crew. Not because we're violent, but because we change things. We make things better. We find new ways. Dr. 6427's antennae twitched with excitement as he took notes. Your species doesn't just adapt, he said. You improve everything you touch. You see possibilities where others see only problems. In the ship's engine room, Susan Parker had made their engines even better. In the medical bay, human doctors worked with alien healers, sharing knowledge that made both groups better at helping others. In every part of the ship, humans showed why they were special. The old ones thought they had to fear us, Eric told his crew. But we're showing the galaxy something different. We're showing them that human creativity, human determination, and human compassion are gifts, not threats. The Galactic Council's test wasn't just about stopping pirates. It was about showing who humans really were. And day by day, ship by ship, friend by friend, they were proving that humanity deserved its place among the stars. We're not just passing their test, Alice said, watching another group of pirates choose to join them instead of fight. We're changing the rules of the game. That's what humans do best. The human factor wasn't about being stronger or smarter. It was about being different, about finding new ways, about making things better. And now the whole galaxy was starting to understand. The great halls of the Galactic Council looked different now. Human art hung on the walls next to alien masterpieces. The sound of human laughter mixed with alien voices. And at the center of it all stood Alice Bennett, watching as workers installed the new Earth Embassy sign. Did you ever think we'd get here? Catherine Mills asked, standing beside her friend. 6 months had passed since they first woke up from their long sleep. I hoped we would, Alice replied. Not through fighting, but by showing them who we really are. Around them, the success stories were everywhere. Dr. Susan Parker's engine improvements were now being used by ships across the galaxy. John Carter was teaching aliens and humans to work together in space defense. Christopher Rogers had made the galaxy's computer networks faster and safer than ever before. Dr. 6427 hurried up to them, his antennae twitching with excitement. The council is ready for the final vote, he said. They're waiting for you. Alice nodded and walked into the grand chamber. Every seat was full. Aliens of all shapes, sizes, and colors watched as she took her place at the speaker's platform. Above them, screens showed humans working side by side with aliens on 100 different worlds. 6 months ago, you gave us a test, Alice began. You wanted to know if humans could be trusted, if we were too dangerous to be part of your galaxy. The room was silent. Everyone knew what humans had done since then. They had fixed the pirate problem without starting a war. They had improved alien technology without taking it over. They had shown strength, but also wisdom. The old ones saw our power and were afraid. Alice continued. They didn't wait to see what we would do with that power. But you gave us a chance. And look what we've done with it. The screens changed to show new images. Human doctors healing alien children. Human engineers teaching aliens new ways to build things. Human artists creating beautiful works with alien materials. Margaret Walsh, who had become the humans' chief diplomat, stepped forward. We don't want to rule the galaxy, she said. We want to help make it better. For everyone. The council leader, a wise old alien who looked like a shimmering tree, stood up. It is time to vote, they announced. Will humanity be accepted as full members of the galactic community? One by one, the aliens voted. Some had been afraid of humans at first, but the humans had shown them something new. Power used with kindness, strength guided by wisdom. The vote was nearly unanimous. Humanity was officially welcomed into the galaxy. Later that day, Alice stood on the observation deck of the new Earth ship New Dawn. Below her, the capital world of the Galactic Council sparkled with lights of all colors. Human lights now shone among them. What's next? Commander Eric Phillips asked, joining her at the window. Everything, Alice said, smiling. We had a whole galaxy to explore now, not as conquerors, but as friends, as helpers, as humans. Dr. Zix 427 watched them from nearby, still taking notes. The old ones were wrong, he said. They thought humanity's power could only destroy. They never imagined how you could use it to build, to heal, to improve. Outside the window, ships of all kinds flew past. Some were old alien designs. Others showed clear signs of human improvement. All of them flew together peacefully. They woke us up expecting monsters, Alice said softly. Instead, they found partners. That's the real human factor. We can always surprise you. The sun rose over the alien world, starting a new day. But for humanity, it was more than that. It was a new dawn, a new beginning. They had not just taken their place among the stars. They had earned it.